So you're struggling to hit your goals because your system is broken, just like the majority of people out there. So today I'm gonna show you a hack that I learned about 5 years ago that has helped me massively in the goal setting and achieving part. It's really made goal setting and goal achieving almost one and the same. I'm gonna walk you through this framework as we dive in. Let's go. Let's ask this question to begin with, okay? Why should you even set goals? Hopefully that's not even a question. Hopefully you understand why you should set and achieve goals, but here's the reality. Most people, the far majority of people, don't even do the basic part of setting a goal. So the fact that you have goals that you haven't hit, just the fact that you set goals sets you apart from the majority. What's up, y'all? Tyler Devereaux here, and man, today I'm gonna be walking you through the goal setting and execution process. And listen, when I learned this strategy, I had 0 apartment units. Literally, I had never acquired an apartment in my entire life, and now I own 3,500 something units, 400 million in assets, and run two multi-million-dollar companies. That's bottom line, by the way, not just top line. And so what I'm telling you is the goals, the things that I've learned, okay, how to set and execute goals. I promise you there's a system and there's a reason that you have not been hitting the goals that you're setting. And I promise you it doesn't come down to motivation. I'm sure that you were highly motivated, but complexity is the enemy of execution. And I would imagine that your system was a little bit too complex, or you didn't have a system, which is, man, even more complex. So today I'm gonna walk you through, once again, the system on how we set and achieve goals so that you can get to whatever mountain you're looking to get to. So the key is, how do you simplify the process? How do you simplify the execution process more specifically? That's what I'm gonna walk you through as we go through this. The other thing for you to recognize and understand is that you need to have a system, and it's a system that's easy for you to gear your mind towards. Now I'm gonna walk you through long-term, short-term, and man, even down to the daily process of how we execute these goals. But you need to understand what your goal is and why you want to achieve it. So let's dive in. All right, I want you to look at this in 3 different phases. Okay, 3 basic phases. Now each phase is gonna have steps within. And I'll also preface it this way because there's a lot that we're about to go through. So number 1, take notes. Make sure that you're taking notes so you know what to execute on. Don't try to remember everything up here. But also understand that your beginning process, your beginning steps is gonna seem like a lot because maybe you've never done what I'm about to walk you through. But I promise you this, if you do the things that I'm about to outline for you, the rest of the year will be so much easier to execute on. You sacrifice a little up front to make the rest of the year, man, a lot better for you. So I promise you, you're not alone when you go through this execution process. You're gonna think, man, this is supposed to be for simplicity, but it seems complicated. It's not complicated. You define the things up front to breed, well, simplicity throughout the rest of the year. So with that said, 3 different phases. The first phase is prep. You're gonna prep to do everything else that we're about to talk about. So literally step 1 is prepping your mindset, like your physiology first to get you in a peak state. You're about to purge as many things out of your head as possible. In order to do that, I like to get in a peak state, and you need to do the same. Sometimes I'll go work out before, but you can do whatever you want to do. You can do some jumping jacks in your office or wherever you're gonna be setting your goals. You can do some push-ups, you can sit up straight, whatever it is. My advice to you is to get in peak physiology. Use your physiology to help get your mind in a peak state. They go hand in hand. Once again, we need this operating at the max potential for you to reach your max potential. Step 1 within phase 1 is to just prep, man. Get yourself physiology mentally ready to go. Step 2 is to brainstorm. You're gonna do a brain dump. You're gonna literally purge your mind of any and every possible thing that you may want to achieve. My advice is to do that either on a whiteboard or on a sheet of paper. You can do that wherever you would like to, but I would strongly encourage you to not do it on an electronic device. Man, set those things aside, remove those distractions, purge that on a piece of paper, a whiteboard, whatever it is. I like to use a whiteboard. And get it out of your mind, man. Spend however much time you need to just purge everything. That's fairly simple. Well, that process is simple. A lot of people do exactly what I just walked you through. Step 3 is you need to get very, very specific. Now, when you're brain dumping, you're not worried about specificity. You also need to, when you're brain dumping, you need to make sure that you turn off that little part in your mind that says, I don't know if this is possible or I don't think this is possible. You need to just for a second remove it and literally purge your mind of everything. Well, man, a wish list of what would be possible in your life if you could remove that switch from your mind. Now, number 3, once again, is getting specific. Now, I do this in a couple different ways. Okay, but specificity is key. Your mind cannot go to work on general ideas, general terms. The mind craves specificity, and you need to make sure that you feed it specificity. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, I have all these things on a whiteboard, okay? Now I'm gonna start to group them. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna circle some things that are of top priority, because you're not gonna focus on all those things that you just purged out. You need to identify which of those things are top priority. Now, personally, I operate in a bunch of different levels within the companies that I run. Visionary, operationally, but I'm also a person. I have personal goals. I'm a dad that I have goals that are aligned with my role as a dad. I'm a husband, goals aligned with my role as a husband. So I'll start to take these bigger, broader goals, group them down into groups of those things that I operate in, and then I will get very specific on what those goals are. For example, I may set a goal as a dad to spend time with my kids. That is a very broad goal. That is not the goal that I will end up with. Now, that may be the goal that I set out on the whiteboard in the beginning, but that's not the goal that I'll end up with. I need to bring that down to become very, very specific. So instead of spending time with my kids, I need to define, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? Maybe it means, this year as an example, I had a specific number of dates that I wanted to take my kids on. I call them daddy, daughter, dude dates. A specific number of dates I wanted to go on. Travel that I wanted to do with them. Games that I wanted to make sure that I made. Those types of things. Getting specific. Literally, I quantify the number of dates, the number of games, the number of things that I would make sure to make it to. Same thing with my role as a husband, dates that I would take Brittany on, activities that we would do, travel that we would have, those types of things. Specific. Now, with your goal within whatever business you're trying to run or whatever your job is that you have, get very specific with those things. A certain number, a certain income number that you want. Maybe you're trying to lose weight, a specific weight loss goal, a specific number of workouts you're going to execute on. Specificity, okay, specificity. Our mind, the base of our brainstem, is a bundle of nerves called the RAS. It's called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And what that does is it acts as a filter. The RAS acts as a filter that only filters things up to the conscious mind that it deems relevant and important. So what does it deem relevant and important? Well, number 1, things we feed it regularly. Our brain craves familiarity. So we need to become very familiar with the things that we're looking for. We also need to feed it regularly into our minds. I'll get more on that later. But it also craves specificity. Once again, our mind cannot go to work on general ideas. We need to get very specific with the things that we're looking to accomplish. Now, the 4th step in phase 1 is to then tell a story. I want you to tell yourself a story, and this has been monumental for me in my life, in my goal setting and achieving process. I literally will tell a story, not from the current state to the future state, but the other way. The future state back to the current state. That's also how you should set your goals, by the way. You don't set goals on what you think is achievable from past to present or current to present. You set it from future to present, meaning you work backwards. What do you want to achieve? And then you work backwards on how you achieve it. So for example, I get very specific, right, on the things that I want to achieve, and then I tell a story on what it would look like when I achieve it. And I legitimately will write this story out. And I write it out, once again, like it's a year, 2, 3, whatever it is down the road, and I've already achieved these things. And I tell the story on what I did to achieve those things and what it feels like now to be in that position having achieved those things. And the reason this is so powerful is I will read that story, and I'll read that story in the beginning of the year every day. In fact, a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll actually record myself telling the story, and then I will listen to that every single day, because that is a lot easier than even reading it. And as I listen to it and as I read it, I see it, I hear it, I feel it multiple times a day. And it'll become almost like your mind believes that it's already achieved it. What's crazy to realize is that your mind can't tell the difference between real and imagined. It cannot. And so as you're feeding your mind this future version, it feels like you've already achieved it, and now you're just catching up. The timeline is just catching up, which is a beautiful thing, man. And if you can trick your mind, this is all about tricking your mind, in my opinion. And one of the ways you do that is to tell yourself a story from once again, the future to the present state. Now that's phase 1. Okay, phase phase one in and of itself should take you, man, a day. It should take you, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes to truly brain dump. Another hour probably to get specific on what you want to accomplish, and then, I don't know, however long it takes you to write a story, that's up to you. But I want you to also have clear expectations as you get into this process, man. Dedicate some time. It's not going to be an hour for you to go to start to finish. It's not. Now, as you get better and better at this process, you'll get better and better at the rate of execution, your speed of execution. But right now, it's your first time simplifying your goal setting process. And man, to simplify, you also have to take the time to do that, because simple is hard. Now, my friends, if you also found some value, once again, man, share it. Share this video. I love doing these videos. I love being able to, man, make an impact on you any way that I can. And the only way that this channel continues to grow is if you share, man, when you find something valuable. So if this is valuable, share it. And then, my friends, as always, live always with aloha. Peace.